Imagine this. Something is chasing you. You run as fast as you can, but your legs won't move. They feel impossibly heavy, like they're trapped in concrete. The thing behind you gets closer. You try to scream. Nothing comes out. Then you wake up. Your heart is racing. Your chest feels tight. And for a few terrifying seconds, you don't know if the danger was real or not. But here's the strange part. What if that nightmare wasn't a mistake? What if your brain wasn't trying to scare you at all? What if every nightmare you've ever had was actually a survival tool designed to keep you alive? Because according to modern neuroscience and evolutionary psychology, your nightmares may be doing something far more important than you ever imagined. And without them, you might not even exist today. To understand the hidden purpose of nightmares, we need to travel millions of years back in time. Long before humans built houses, locked doors, and security systems, our earliest primate ancestors slept in a very different place, high up in the branches of trees. Sleeping in trees was one of the safest ways to avoid predators roaming on the ground below. But it came with one major problem. If you rolled over, lost your balance, or moved the wrong way during sleep, you could fall to your death. And that may explain one of the most common and unsettling sleep experiences humans have ever known, the falling dream. Have you ever been just about to fall asleep when suddenly it feels like you've slipped, tripped, or fallen from a great height? Your entire body jerks awake instantly. Scientists call this a hypnic jerk. As you drift into sleep, your muscles naturally begin to relax, but sometimes your ancient brain misinterprets that relaxation as a sign that you're actually falling from a tree. Instant panic. Your brain sends a powerful electrical signal through your nervous system, forcing your body to wake up immediately so you can catch yourself. You may be sleeping safely on a comfortable mattress, but deep inside, your biological hardware is still trying to save you from falling out of a prehistoric tree canopy. But the real magic and the real terror begins when you enter REM sleep, also known as rapid eye movement sleep. This is the stage where your brain decides it's time to run a full-scale emergency drill. During the day, the front part of your brain, called the prefrontal cortex, acts like a logical manager. It helps you make decisions. It tells you what makes sense. It keeps your emotions under control. But when REM sleep begins, that manager essentially clocks out and goes home. Meanwhile, another region called the amygdala, the emotional and fear center of the brain, becomes highly active. Imagine a massive flight simulator where the safety instructor has left the room and someone has taped down the panic button. That's basically your brain during a nightmare. Without logic to remind you that monsters aren't real, every threat feels completely genuine. Every danger feels immediate. Every fear feels real. The terror you experience during a nightmare is biologically very similar to the fear you would feel if you were actually being hunted in the real world. But why would the brain put us through all of this? Why spend so much time creating terrifying scenarios while we're asleep? This brings us to a fascinating idea in evolutionary psychology known as the threat simulation theory, proposed by cognitive scientist Antti Revonsuo. According to this theory, dreams are not meaningless noise. They are not random images thrown together by a sleeping brain. Instead, they function as an offline biological virtual reality system, a training ground, a simulator, a place where the brain can rehearse dangerous situations without exposing the body to any real risk. To understand why this would be useful, imagine the world our ancestors lived in. It was nothing like the world we know today. There were no hospitals, no police, no emergency services, no safe homes, no locked doors. Every day was filled with threats. Saber-toothed cats, venomous snakes, hostile tribes, starvation, disease, freezing temperatures. A single mistake could mean death. And in a world like that, experience was everything. The more situations your brain had practiced, the better your chances of surviving when the real thing happened. So when our ancestors fell asleep, their brains didn't simply switch off. Instead, they started running simulations, the worst case scenarios, the most dangerous situations imaginable. It was like putting on a biological VR headset. Night after night, the brain rehearsed survival, how to escape a predator, how to avoid a deadly attack, how to navigate an unfamiliar forest, how to react when danger suddenly appeared. These experiences felt real enough to train the brain, but safe enough that failure didn't actually kill you. In a sense, nightmares became a survival classroom, and every terrifying dream was another lesson. Now let's see how ruthless natural selection can be. Imagine two groups of early humans. Group A spends every night having peaceful dreams. They dream about sweet berries, warm sunshine, friendly conversations, relaxing beside a campfire. Their sleep is calm and pleasant. Group B experiences something very different. Every night they battle terrifying nightmares. They dream about wolves stalking them through the darkness, predators hiding in the bushes, cliffs collapsing beneath their feet, danger around every corner. Now fast forward to the next morning. A real pack of hungry wolves suddenly attacks the camp. Which group reacts faster? Group A hesitates. Their brains haven't spent the night preparing for danger. They're caught completely off guard. But Group B, their brains have been practicing for exactly this situation for hours. Their attention is sharper. Their reflexes are faster. Their adrenaline kicks in sooner. They react immediately. They know where to run. They know how to respond. Group A becomes breakfast. Group B survives. They reproduce, and they pass their genes to future generations, generation after generation, until eventually they pass them to us. We are the descendants of survivors, and many scientists believe our nightmares may be echoes of the ancient training programs that helped those survivors stay alive. But this raises an important question. If nightmares are survival simulations, why do we always feel so weak inside them? Why do our punches feel slow? Why do our legs feel heavy? Why does running feel like moving through deep water? And why can we never seem to escape when something is chasing us? The answer lies in a remarkable biological mechanism called REM atonia. When your brain starts running dream simulations, it understands something important. Your body is still lying safely in bed. If you dream about fighting a bear, you don't want your real body throwing punches across the room. If you dream about running from a predator, you don't want your real legs sprinting into a wall. That would be dangerous. So your brain activates a built-in safety system. It sends chemical signals down the spinal cord that temporarily disable most voluntary muscles. In simple terms, your body becomes temporarily paralyzed, not because something has gone wrong, but because your brain is trying to protect you. Now imagine what happens during a nightmare. Your dream self sees danger. A monster appears. A predator attacks. Something begins chasing you. Your brain sends the command, run, but your real muscles don't move. They're still under REM atonia. As a result, the brain receives almost no physical feedback. And because the brain hates missing information, it creates an explanation. Inside the dream, that explanation becomes heavy legs, slow movement, running through mud, moving underwater, being unable to escape. Ironically, one of the most terrifying parts of nightmares exists because your brain is trying to keep you safe. The very system designed to protect your body accidentally creates one of the most frightening sensations the human mind can experience. But what about today? Most of us aren't being hunted by predators anymore. We don't wake up every morning worrying about saber-toothed cats hiding outside our cave. So why do nightmares still exist? And why have they changed? Why do so many people dream about their teeth falling out? Why do they dream about showing up to an important exam completely unprepared? Why do they dream about being naked in public or forgetting how to do a job they've done 100 times before? At first glance, these dreams seem completely unrelated to survival, but your brain sees things differently. Your brain hasn't glitched. It hasn't stopped doing its job. It has simply updated its software. Just as it did thousands of years ago, your brain is constantly scanning your environment for threats. The difference is that the threats have changed. For most of human history, survival was mainly about physical dangers, predators, starvation, violence, extreme weather. Today, many of those threats have been replaced by social and psychological ones. And to your brain, those threats can feel just as important thousands of years ago. Being rejected by your tribe wasn't merely embarrassing. It was deadly. Humans survived because they belonged to groups. A tribe provided protection, food, shelter, support. If you were cast out, your chances of survival dropped dramatically. In many cases, social rejection was a death sentence. Because of that, evolution shaped our brains to take social threats extremely seriously. And even though modern society has changed, that ancient programming is still running in the background. Your brain still treats status, acceptance, reputation, and belonging as matters of survival. That's why certain nightmares are so common across cultures and across generations. When you dream about your teeth falling out, your brain may be simulating a loss of power, attractiveness, confidence, or control. When you dream about standing naked in public, it may be simulating vulnerability and exposure. When you dream about failing an exam, forgetting your lines, missing an important meeting, or making a fool of yourself in front of others, your brain is creating a simulation of humiliation and social rejection. In other words, your nightmare is still doing exactly what it was designed to do. It's exposing you to a threatening situation before it happens. It's allowing you to experience the emotional consequences in advance. And in doing so, it encourages you to prepare, to improve, to avoid failure. It's as if your brain is saying, I wanted you to feel how painful this could be. So when you wake up, you'll do everything possible to prevent it. And that's what makes nightmares so fascinating. They aren't just random stories. They aren't meaningless hallucinations. They're simulations, rehearsals, training exercises created by millions of years of evolution. So the next time you wake up in the middle of the night, your heart racing, you're breathing shallow, your blanket clenched tightly in your hands, don't be angry at your brain. Take a deep breath. Look around your room. Notice the silence. Notice the safety. Take a sip of water and remember what just happened. Your internal survival software is still running, exactly as it was designed to. Your brain, the ultimate personal bodyguard, is working the night shift. While you're asleep, it continues scanning for threats, testing scenarios, running simulations, preparing you for challenges that may never even happen. You are the product of millions of years of survivors, and your nightmares are simply the training ground. But now I want to hear from you. What is the strangest nightmare you've ever had? What dream keeps coming back again and again? What nightmare terrified you so much that you still remember it years later? Until next time, sleep well, if you can.